Hi, this is Phoenix Genesis for PhoenixGenesis.com and our two YouTube channels, Phoenix Genesis and Frag Camp. So, hope everybody got a permit for the Pacific Crest Trail 2020. I know I did. I was one of the first up, and I got a really nice date, the one I wanted. So, anyway, I wanted to talk about air pads. Now, foam pads are really great. A lot of people use Therm-a-Rest foam pads on the trail. I've used them in the past. But if you're an ultra lightweight hiker, it's all about not only saving weight, but packability. So the smaller the pack I have, the more mobility I have on trail, the more comfortable I am on trail on those long climbs and descents. So I want things to pack nice. So these are kind of my three go-to pads, and I'm just going to show you the evolution of how good Therm-a-Rest has gotten. So this is the, if you can see how much bigger this is the Neo Air X-Lite. Short and nice, the famous yellow pad, although mine does not crinkle like a bag of potato chips. Mine, I've always find mine to be very quiet, and I'm very sensitive to noise. So anyway, that's give or take. But anyway, this one weighs, again, and this is including the weight of the case, this one weighs an ounce more than the Uberlite, which is, this is the 6 foot, this is the 4'7", and so this is the short, this is the regular. Here is the short Uberlite. So just look at how much smaller the 6 foot is compared to the 4'7", and even though this weighs an ounce more, even though it's more packable, you got to remember this is 6 foot full length pad. So if you're a longer person, you definitely want a 6 foot pad. Even though me being 5'4", I actually like the longer one, but if I'm in a short hammock or a short poncho tarp or short in my short homemade tent, I mean, I just can't have a 6 foot pad. It just doesn't work. I mean, this is a 6 foot pad, sorry. I can't have a 6 foot pad. It doesn't work for me. But anyway, you're looking at 7 3/4 ounces with the patch kit and the case for this. Of course, you can lighten it by I do recommend bringing a field repair kit. I haven't had a problem with a pad puncturing on the PCT in the 5 years I've used pads, but you know what, it's good to have the patch kit. Better safe than sorry. Anyway, that is the 7 ounce. This is about 8 3/4 ounces with the patch kit and the little case. And there's something, it's so weird, even though this is a smaller R value, I'm actually warmer in the Uberlights. I think it has to do with the technology of the newer materials. But again, I've tested it in, outside, and I've tested it in my hammock. Like last night, it got a little chilly in the house, and I tested it with the hammock, and I actually am warmer with the Uberlite, so I don't slip around as much either. So I do like to recommend the Uberlite. And again, this is amazing. I mean, just a little over 5 ounces. And look how small it is. I mean, you can even scrunch it down more. You can, again, go under 5 ounces if you ditch the little case for it, but honestly, I see people ditch it, but I prefer having the case because a punctured pad is not a fun experience on any trail, let alone the Pacific Crest Trail. So I recommend keeping it in the case and protecting it. I mean, yeah, you could probably wrap it in other things, but if something shifts in your pack and it's punctured, you know, you're really just going to be sorry. But anyway, look at how small this is, and it's so comfortable. I can take it out and show it. I'm not going to blow it up, but I'll take it out and show it to you. I mean, it's just so amazing, the technology. And I was talking to Therm-a-Rest, and apparently they're doing some new technology for some new pads coming up in 2022. So it'll be exciting to test it out. I'm always, you know, up for testing out new things. And again, hiking the Pacific Crest Trail, any trail, is an evolutionary process. You will learn new skills, and you will you know, probably not start with the gear, you'll not end up with the gear you started with. I know I'm so different from when I started hiking in 2016. There are some things that are tried and true that I still use, but a lot of things have been swapped out, and here it is. You can see it's so thin, and I like the color better than the yellow too. I just like it. I think it also keeps you warmer being darker. It kind of absorbs everything, which is the whole point of it, is to keep you warm. But anyway, this is it. And again, I do recommend putting some kind of pad underneath it, whether it's a Gossamer Gear foam pad or it's a Therm-a-Rest foam pad, or, you know, car window shade. Sometimes I use a 1 ounce car window shade that's reflective. But in the desert section, you really kind of want something underneath to make sure your pad doesn't, you know, burst. And something like a Gossamer Gear will add that extra half a, you know, R value, 0.5 to the 2.0 to kind of boost it up. So anyway, that's it. I mean, it's pretty, you know, 4'7". I mean, you know, you start here, it goes all the way down to almost my ankles, and you just kind of put your backpack underneath it, or, you know, maybe an extra layer of something you're not using underneath to keep the bottom of your legs, you know, warm. And again, everything's about campsite placement. You can have, you know, you know, the X-Therm with a really good R value, but if you have terrible campsite placement, you're probably going to be colder than if you have an Uberlite and you understand campsite placement. You know, not you know, making sure you have some nice grassy stuff underneath you, not being too low where the air kind of flows down in the cold air, not being too close to a water source where you're going to get cold air. So again, a lot of it is about campsite placement and other variables, how clean you are when you go to sleep, whether you've eaten, whether you're hydrated. All that affects your warmth when you're sleeping. So again, don't blame the equipment. The equipment is a tool. Your knowledge is part and parcel. It goes with the equipment. It's not, you are not separate from your equipment. You are going to learn how to survive out there. The equipment supplements you and your knowledge as a hiker. So having said that, Phoenix Genesis, see you on the trail for 2020. Bye.